there has been an update about the Van Jones story that I covered last week, where he exposed himself here on Bill Maher's show. And Ryan Grimm, we're showing it from Ryan Grimm because he's the person that Van Jones is now attacking. Oh, get ready for the laughs. Ryan Grimm said, how does Van Jones think those babies died? So just to recap, this is the statement that was made by Van Jones that made everybody scream at Van Jones. All right, here we go.
Race theory, and somehow the Middle East became part of,
I see it differently. And I love this conversation because I think people, those of us who went to college, give a lot more credit to college courses for how the world works than I do. This is not about critical race theory on college campuses. This is about Iran. Iran and Qatar have come up with a disinformation campaign that they are running through TikTok and Instagram that is massive. If you are a young person, you open up your phone and all you see is dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby, right. Diddy, dead Gaza baby, dead Gaza baby. That's basically their whole feed.
Yeah, so you guys remember that. Apparently that did not go well for Van Jones. Everyone was attacking him, those on the left, the right, in between, and all over the damn place. After that, I said, Van is done. But apparently I was incorrect. He wasn't done just yet. And of course, we debunked this last week. He has no proof that shows that Iran and Qatar are paying for these accounts at all. However, things just got worse for Van. I was wrong. He wasn't done then. Might be done now, though. Because you see, Ryan Grimm in Drop Site News found out something else. Van Jones is among 16 mainstream journalists, including 2 New York Times reporters, serving as mentors in a new journalism fellowship explicitly created to help Israel win its information war. Now, why is this important? Why does this matter? You know, it kind of shows you, again, like we said, Van Jones was being paid to push pro-Israel propaganda. Now, I just think this is something that people need to know. Look, I'd never heard of this fellowship before, this article, but Van Jones wasn't going to just volunteer this information before he said what he said on Bill Maher's show or what he said on CNN or other podcasts about Israel being the best this and the best that. He's a paid puppet. Now, Van Jones apparently did not like the fact that Ryan Grimm called him out. So he responded. This did not go well for Van. Van Jones just need to take a hiatus from social media for like a couple weeks because this ain't going well. He said, fake news alert. This story is totally bogus. I agreed to give a 1-hour, one-time talk to a handful of journalists next year for free. I give more than 100 talks a year covering all topics, speaking to people of all races, faith, and background, and I will continue to do so. So he went all out there, all big and proud, and he said that Ryan Grimm's article was fake news. There's just one problem. Van Jones pretended as though a website doesn't exist. I mean, Van Jones is out here all loud and proud as if he is not featured on the damn website. So my response to Van Jones is, what are you talking about? And you can see the screenshot here. The Karsh Journalism Fellowship mentors. I mean, his picture is on the damn website. Like that's the crazy part. He didn't take any time to read that actual article, because if he would have read the article, he would have been able to connect the two and say, oh, wait a minute, that's the Karsh Fellowship. I'm on the website. I mean, talk about having egg on your face. So Van Jones was out there showing his whole ass, all of it. So let's show you, who are the Karsh people? What is the Karsh Journalism Fellowship? Again, this is all on their website, public information. The Karsh Journalism Fellowship mentors. These mentors are leading journalists representing a wide range of platforms and perspectives. Their role is to consult on the development and refinement of the fellowship itself, lead sessions as their schedules allow, connect fellows to valuable sources and colleagues, provide mentorship on reporting projects, and support recruitment by promoting the program within professional networks. So let me stop here for a second. So part of his job as a mentor is to provide mentorship on reporting projects and to promote it on professional networks. Now let's look at who the mentors are, because this is hilarious. Check this out, fam. Some of these people you may recognize. We have Bernard Avashi, Alex Cohen, Giselle Fernandez. There's Van Jones. Again, and he's in the first row. Like maybe he could have gotten away with it if he was at the bottom of the list. But he's in the first row. Damn. Let's continue on. Aaron Mullen, Moshe Anananu, hope I pronounced that correctly, Mark Oppenheimer, Sharon Ottoman, Michael Powell, Jody Roderin, Jonathan Sacerdoti, Emily Schrader, that crazy Zionist woman that has been on Piers Morgan multiple times. You see who he's in community with? Let's continue on. Matthew Siegel, Shira, Talushkin, Sarah Tuttle Singer, and Sharon Waxman. Van Jones is the only Black person a part of this mentor program. In other words, Van Jones is their token. At least got to have one. Let's put a one on there and show, see, we got Black people too. See, Israel's not racist. We got a Black guy there. If you look further on this website, the Karsh Journalism Fellowship, when you look at what it's about, this again, it's so bold and in your face. Jackie Karsh, she is a 6-time Emmy-nominated multimedia journalist for over a decade. She has reported for LA 36 LA County Channel, where her work shines a light on the social and humanitarian issues that shape the lives of Angelenos. You have the director here, who's Rob Eshman, senior columnist at The Forward, served as national editor of The Forward and editor-in-chief and publisher of the Jewish Journal. Rob has taught and lectured at USC Annenberg School of Communications and Journalism and the University of Missouri School of Journalism. Wait till we get to it, folks, right here. Let's see what it's about. The fellowship is a nonpartisan, ideological, pluralistic space for journalists to immerse themselves in the study of core Jewish issues and to develop their own ideas. They make it very clear what they are about and what that fellowship is for. Did everybody hear what I just said? Okay. And yet Van Jones is out there saying it's fake news. But we're not going to take it. In the words of Twisted Sister, no, we ain't going to take it. If you look at the article here from Dropside News, legacy journalists from New York Times, CNN, are mentors in a fellowship funded for pro-Israel information war. Now let's just drop down to the part here where they get into Van Jones. Pretty lengthy article. Here it goes, right about here. So where did I want to start? We're going to start about here. The fellowship has attracted 16 scholars and journalists from several mainstream publications to serve as mentors, including The Atlantic, Spectrum News, The Spectre, Ynet, Times of Israel, and 2 journalists at the New York Times, Joni Warderin, and the former Jerusalem bureau chief for the New York Times, who now oversees newsletters for the paper, including the Morning and Deal book, and Sharon Ottoman. So you see, The Atlantic, Spectrum News, etc. Again, this is the pro-Israel propaganda push. It goes on to say here, in response to an inquiry from DropSite about whether having staff reporters mentoring for a program whose founder has said it exists to help Israel win an information war represented a conflict with the New York Times standards, spokesperson Charlie Statlander said in a statement, it's ridiculous to suggest participation as mentor in this fellowship is anything other than helping to build the reporting skills necessary for the next generation of independent journalists. Okay. Pardon me. Let's go back to the website again. What does it say? The fellowship is a nonpartisan, ideological, pluralistic space for journalists to immerse themselves in the study of core Jewish issues. I mean, they make it very clear. People act like the website doesn't even exist. Other fellowship mentors include CNN's Van Jones, who recently issued an apology after drawing intense criticism for comments he made on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday, making light of images of dead Palestinian children, which we went over that video. As founder of this fellowship, Karsh has been an open and diehard supporter of Israel in both of her articles and public comments. She describes Hamas as real-life monsters and compared Hamas to Nazis. She also questioned the Gaza Health Ministry's casualty numbers, which have been found to be accurate by the UN and even the Israeli military. When the numbers come from the Ministry of Health run by Hamas, whether that's done deliberately or not, influences how people perceive the story, and it can even shape the policies. And this is why I've argued multiple times that if you do the math, the death count that is reported is obviously significantly lower than the actual death count. She wants to keep it that way. Actually, she wants it to be even lower, right? So Van Jones is a paid liar. It goes on to say that Karsh has also been highly critical of the Palestine solidarity protests and encampments on university campuses and the media coverage of them. So she had a problem with the protest as well. So Van Jones just got exposed again. And what made it worse is that he responded to Ryan Grimm and DropSite News, and he said it was fake news, as if this website didn't exist out there and his face is not right there in the front row on that website. Now, this ain't all, because we've been talking about this for a while, like who Van Jones is, right? Did you know that Van Jones also at one point had a deal with Rock Nation? This was in 2017. Van Jones signed a management deal with Jay-Z's Rock Nation. CNN host, author, and activist. He had made the announcement that Thursday. This was May 4th, 2017. You see what I mean? Like, Van just got his hands everywhere. I don't think a lot of people know about this, but yeah, see, it was right here. Jay-Z's Rock Nation management firm has scored an unlikely new client. The Washington Post reported the company inked a deal with CNN host and former Obama environmental advisor Van Jones. So they got people everywhere to push this propaganda. So the more things, the more projects that Van Jones is involved with, the more often he can spread that pro-Israel propaganda. It's not just about CNN. He can spread it at Rock Nation. I don't know if he's still with them, but he had signed with them in 2017, apparently. And I think a lot of times what they do, in particular, like Israel, is like they always try to get at least one Black person in these spaces so that they can make sure that Black people remain pro-Israel. Because naturally, we are more likely to side with those who are oppressed, not the people who are the oppressor. So they get tools out there like Van Jones, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries. They get them to do that work. There's just one problem, though, when it comes to Van. And of course, shout out to Gabrielle for this one. The Israelis admitted openly on video that their goal was to get Black Americans on their side in the propaganda wars against the Palestinian people. The problem with fascists is that they don't do their homework, because Black people as a whole Do not mess with Van fucking Jones. No, that's the thing. Most of us ain't really trying to be cool with Van like that. So that's the other part. They pick people. They're like, they're black, they're well educated. He went to Yale. Cory Booker went to Stanford. Like, they pick people that have no connection to the community. Not everyday working folk. I mean, I didn't think it could get worse for Van because he had a bad week last week, but apparently it could. And everybody's pushing back. And by the way, the ratio for this one is even worse. Because people are like, wow, dude, you're just really striking out 2 weeks in a row. And people are doing that because we're not going to take it. We're not going to take the propaganda. We're not going to take the lies, the blatant lies. We're not going to take it. And people are willing to push more back on corporate media. And I can guarantee you one thing. This whole takeover of Barry Weiss coming in as the editor of CBS News, it's almost like CBS News wants their ratings to tank. Because ain't no young people watching you. We're not watching CBS. No. They're losing the information war. And they're using people like Van Scummy Jones to try to get it back. Don't lie, Van. Stand up and own that. Own it. Own it. Just admit you're a paid puppet for Israel. People might have more respect for you if you just admit it is what it is. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.